involvement in them. The names are part of a lawsuit.
Yeah, right. This is, by the way, this is line number one. This is line one in every news thing. Line one. They don't get to it later. First of all, died by suicide. Repeated that lie. We all know it's a lie. We know the guards were asleep or whatever. We all know the whole thing. His cellmate was I'm not even going to rehash it, but we know. But it's, again, CBS going, a publication does not imply knowledge of his crimes. Now, here's the deal, okay? In what other news case have they done this? In what other case? And by the way, I'm not saying that everybody in the documents is guilty. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, in what other news case do they feel the need to go out and say, just because these names are being bandied about doesn't mean they did anything wrong? This is the first thing they say. Mm-hmm. In what other news case does the president, an ex-president of the United States, mentioned over 50 times in these documents, the first thing you say is, well, there's nothing illegal here. Nobody knows anything. You have to believe that all of this is an accident. That all of these people are just an accident. It's a complete accident that they're all being mentioned. They had no idea. They had no idea. What are you talking about? These are the wealthiest people in the world. They can go anywhere they want on vacation. Okay? They can go anywhere they want. They're the richest people in the world. They can go anywhere they want. They lead countries. They can go anywhere. This is not a bunch of my friends from Long Island who would just go to the French Virgin Islands. Really? This is the wealthiest people in the world. They do not need to go to this island. There's no reason. They're going to this island with this guy. This is not, they can travel. They can charter planes. They have other friends with planes. The people in the media act like Jeffrey Epstein owned the one private plane available from 2005 to 2020. It's like, that's not, there's a whole industry. I have a lovely jet broker named Dirk. He's a large man from Boca Raton. He can get you a private jet. Epstein is not the only guy with the jet. This idea that he's the only person with a jet. The media looks straight in the face, go, there's no indication that anybody on the jet did anything wrong. People need to take jets. What are they going to do? Walk? Where are they going to go? So it's interesting that it's not only that they're saying it. They're not saying it at the end. They're saying it in the beginning. They're saying it in the beginning because they're going to claim they're all afraid of vigilantism and vigilante justice. And I understand that mob justice is not good. Now, this is the reason that they're coming out with these disclaimers. They're going to say that. They're going to go, well, people are endangered by their names being out there, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And there's some truth to that. So why don't you do the work of figuring out who did it? Why don't you do the work of figuring out why the ex-president's name, who's going to be fine, as Secret Service protection, he's fine. And these I'm not worried about these billionaires, by the way. I'm not really worried about the guy that runs Hyatt. Right? Isn't he named the guy who runs Hyatt? Mm-hmm. We're worried about the guy who runs Hyatt. His safety? It's not true. These are the same people that don't care at all about, remember the dumb story about those Covington kids? They were doxing them. They weren't concerned about the safety of those kids. They weren't concerned about the safety of anybody. They don't care about the safety. This is a hilarious angle, by the way. It's a hilarious angle. Well, we got safety of the people named in the document. They don't care. They don't care about due process. They don't care about safety. They don't care about anything. The media is driven by only likes, clicks, shares, eyeballs, views. This is what they do. This is all that they do. This is how they stay alive. So when they come out and they go, well, we just want to let you know that all of the people named here, it has nothing to do with the Epstein being a human trafficker. This is just people that kind of knew him. And I'm sure some of that is true. I'm sure there's a guy that was like, what's going on? There's always some guy that gets roped into something and he's sitting there going, wait a minute, what? There are people that ended up in places they shouldn't have been, but it's not all of them. And it's probably not even the majority of it. Like, there's probably a lot of people. I'm not saying that there aren't people that just were on the jet or whatever, but when you're talking about repeat trips to the island, you're talking about people asking questions, people visiting and hanging out with this guy after he'd already been convicted of the first massage gone wrong, which again, he was just basically like, I got a massage from this bitch and she lied about her age. You know these girls are always lying and massaging you. Finish a little bit. Let's see a little bit more of how they handle this. The great people, CBS News, just want to let you know that everything's good.
Ghislaine Maxwell, who was sentenced to 20 years in prison for sex trafficking young girls for Epstein. CBS News correspondent Nancy Chen joins me now. Okay, Nancy, there's a lot to sift through. What do you know? There is. We are going through this right now. We have a team combating and attacking this big document release. We just got 40 documents in total. More than, as you mentioned, 940 pages plus. We have a team going through this right now. We'll make sure to bring you updates. But here's what we do know. It's important to note that being named, as you mentioned, does not necessarily mean that someone had knowledge of or involvement in Epstein's crimes.
Nancy Chen, stop that. Nancy Chen now coming in here hot. Nancy's coming in hot. She's coming in hot. She's like, I just want to reiterate to the fucking retards who watch this network. Many of you are old, you got pills falling out of your mouths, you're drooling, you're basically dead. What we want to let you know, for the 19th time, we're coming in hot. None of this means that anyone did anything wrong. These are just names on a piece of paper. Like your name could be on it or your friend's name could be on it. No one did it. No one did nothing here. This is separate. There's Jeffrey Epstein, the human trafficker, and then there's this thing that we got, which is a whole nother thing. That's the way the media is handling this. This is different. This is a whole nother thing. Let's continue with Nancy Chen.
Of accusers along with potential witnesses. Underage accusers were kept under seal here. That said, nearly 190 J-Does were mentioned in these documents. They're tied to a civil lawsuit against Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is now serving, as you mentioned, a 20-year prison sentence for helping Epstein groom and sexually abuse underage girls. Her accuser, Virginia Giuffre, says she was trafficked when she was 17 to Britain's Prince Andrew, who has denied her allegations. They settled out of court in 2022. But Epstein, a convicted sex offender, died by suicide in jail in 2019 while awaiting trial for sex trafficking. I do want to point out that two people connected to today's release have asked for their names to stay under seal, and a judge granted those requests temporarily as their objections remain under review. So we're going to continue going through this. There's a lot to sift through, and we'll make sure to update you as it comes in.
They've said nothing.
Okay.
It's amazing how they say nothing. There's a lot to go through here. We got a crack team in the back. By the way, does anyone believe that?
Nope.
Does anyone believe that CBS News has a team of people going through these documents? Does anyone, gun to your head, you know what it is, right? You go in the back of CBS News, there's like a fat guy. He's eating, it's New York, they're all New York. He's eating like a pinwheel from a pizzeria, like a pepperoni pinwheel. And it's kind of like, he's like pulled it apart and the cheese is kind of congealed. It's kind of gross. And he's like dunking it in the sauce and just kind of gnawing at it like a rat would. And he's got this, he's got like the Epstein, all the docs up, and like it's his job to like make sense out of this. That's the best case scenario. It's like one day they put one fat idiot on it. And they're like, what do you think? And he's like, oh no, there's a lot of people named in here. A lot of people get fucked up over there. It's not a crack. Twitter's ripped it all apart. X has, of course, broken it down quicker. I gave a quote to Barry Weiss in the Free Press. I did a little funny joke. Barry Weiss and the Free Press will be printing that. If they don't print it, I will sue them because I wrote it. But we'll be moving on shortly from this story. But this is interesting. It is developing, and I just want to say that while I cover this story, I want to let my audience know, my viewers, my listeners, people that have listened to this show, some of them 7 or 8 years, that just because I'm talking about the names of these people that have been mentioned, it does not imply that I think they did anything wrong. I think they're all fine, upstanding people. I think they're all great people. I think it's probably a situation where there's some type of accident that happened where they all ended up on a human trafficker's island multiple times. It happens. It happens. Layovers, shit happens. I wanted to, it's a sad story now. Lisa's Lounge. This is a bar in Long Island, New York. I spent many of my formative years here. Many fans of this show know about Lisa's Lounge because it is something that I have talked about ad nauseum in the early episodes. So this is 2 days ago. Somebody shared this with me from a Facebook group. I did not know Lisa's Lounge was on Facebook. I didn't follow them. To all my Lisa's Lounge family and friends, after 22 years, the doors are officially closed for good. We wanted to take the time to thank all the patronage and bartenders that have helped us thrive over the years. We are now on to a new year and a new chapter. Happy New Year. And cheers to the future. And then, can you make that picture big?
Yeah.
And this is a little celebration. I believe they had the end. There's the end of Lisa's Lounge. That's sad, isn't it? Man, I wish I stayed there, huh? Well, there it is. The end of Lisa's Lounge. A great place. I used to sit at that bar and drink almost a bottle of vodka every night. Wow. Well, we wish everyone well. Maybe that'll be their last night of drinking. And then after that, all right, take it down, please. Take it down. It's giving me flashbacks. I want to say that no one in that photo, just because they're in that photo, does not mean that they're consuming alcohol and or doing cocaine. Just because they're in that photo, that doesn't mean that's what they're doing. It does not suggest that that's the activities that are happening. We don't know. This crazy article I read, 200 hours to maintain your... And by the way, just before I say goodbye to Lisa's Lounge, I will say